welcome. I would like to welcome you to yet another episode of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legendary Jalen Hunter. And if you would do me a favor, please subscribe to wherever you're listening. Please subscribe to wherever you're watching. It will definitely mean a lot to me. What I like to do from time to time is I say a lot that there's a difference between tanking and just being bad. You know, a lot of teams want to say, oh, we're tanking to get draft picks or whatever. And I say all the time, you could only tank for so long until you're just like for instance, there's teams that have been tanking since I've been born. Now, I wasn't born yesterday, people, so that's been a while. So at some point, you're not really tanking. You just don't know what you're doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my GM hat. And from time to time, I'm going to pick a team, whether it's NFL, NBA, baseball, whatever it is. I'm going to pick a team, and I'm going to bring them to the promised land in 5 steps. Now, again, whether you want to listen to GM Jalen or not, it is what it is. But I am going to tell them, whatever team I choose, how to go from the bottom to the top. Now, again, this is free game, so listen at your own expense. It is what it is. And I wanted to start this with the home team, the Washington Wizards. Now, I have been a Wizards fan. I mean, born and raised in Maryland, and I'm just a Wizards fan. And in order to fix the Wizards is going to be the first team I fix. In order to fix the Wizards, we have to paint a picture of where they are. The Wizards are currently 18-32 as we're recording this, and they're going nowhere fast, man. They have 2 dynamic players. You have Bradley Beal, who's arguably one of the best 2 guards in the league. You have Russell Westbrook, who's still a triple-double machine. However, you're in the bottom percentile in defense, but you're in top 15 in offense. So, at this point, if the draft was tomorrow, you'd probably be around 6 to 15 range, unless you just hit on the lottery, which who knows. But in 5 steps, I'm going to bring the Wizards from 18-32 to the promised land, to championship contenders. Let's first start with number 1. At some point, you have to be real about where you are. You know, you have to be real about the piece. Sometimes you have to look yourself in the mirror and realize I've been wrong. And also, there are some times when a coach is a really good coach, just might not be a good coach for that bunch. Like, I think that Greg Popovich is an incredible coach. I think that Greg Popovich is one of the greatest coaches, the league has ever seen. However, I think that coaching the Spurs is the perfect place for him to coach. While I'm not taking away from his incredible resume and being one of the greatest coaches, I don't know if he would have been as successful coaching a team like Golden State when they had Curry and Clay and Draymond Green and KD. I just don't know if he would be as successful. I'm not saying that he would not be successful, but I don't know if he'd be as successful coaching those big name players for Golden State. I think, getting Tim Duncan, getting Manu Ginobili, getting Tony Parker, young Kawhi Leonard, I think those temperaments, those type of players definitely, especially, and David Robinson, definitely helped the cachet and helped the quote-unquote coaching development of a Greg Popovich. But with all that being said, I'm not saying that Scott Brooks is a bad coach. I mean, Scott Brooks has led a team to the NBA Finals. Scott Brooks has coached some really good players. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but when you look at the Wizards and you look at the fact that night after night they score with the best of them. They're one of the best scoring teams. Like I said, they're in top 15, I think top 10 actually in scoring, I believe, or top 15 in scoring. Yet and still, they be getting blown out. They have large leads and then they dwindle down to lose. It's like at some point you have to look at who's leading these players. Now, it would be different if the Wizards were just a black hole of talent. Like, if they just didn't have any talent, it would be different. However, when you have, like I said, a Bradley Beal, when you have a Russell Westbrook, when you have young players like Rui Hachimura, when you have some really good players, it's like, it just, you just, here's the thing. Here's what I do. Number one, the first thing to me the Wizards should do is fire head coach Scott Brooks. And the thing is, Scott Brooks is doing exactly what he does. So you can't really get mad at Scott Brooks because if you look at the teams, if you look at the OKC teams that he had, they were always, and these are OKC teams with Russell Westbrook, with Kevin Durant, James Harden was there, Serge Ibaka. They were always top 10 to top 5 range in scoring, but they were always lower in defense. Now, and this is with a Serge Ibaka. This is with the height advantage of a KD. They had Kendrick Perkins for a year or two. So I just think that Scott Brooks has never shown a ability to, I'm not going to say care about, I'm not gonna say he doesn't care about defense. I'm not gonna say that at all. But I just don't think he shows an onus and he emphasizes offense a lot more than defense. And I think that it shows with every team that he's coached. Now, again, this is not me saying he's a bad coach. I just think that he has taken this team, which is the Washington Wizards, as far as he can take them. And that is an incredible offense. I mean, hell, Bradley Beal is what, second or third in scoring right now. He's an all-star. You know, he has helped Bradley Beal, of course, stat-wise improve dramatically. And of course, Russell Westbrook is still doing what he does with the triple doubles, but I think you need a fresh voice, a voice that cares a lot about defense into the head coaching seat, because I think it just doesn't seem like Scott Brooks can take them as far as they are now. It seems like with Scott Brooks, they have hit their ceiling. And I think the first thing that you have to do is fire head coach Scott Brooks and bring on I'm not going to say a coach that only solely focuses on defense, but a coach that puts more of an onus on defense, and a coaching staff that puts, I'm not saying fire the whole staff, but I'm saying a coach that puts more emphasis on defense, because there should be no reason why Washington is as bad on defense as they are. Like, there should be no reason. That's crazy. Like, they are god awful. I think they're probably second or third worst defense in the entire league, and that is in a league with the Chicago Bulls. That's in the league with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's in the league with the Sacramento Kings. Like, this is that there should be no reason why a team that has a Bradley Beal, has a Russell Westbrook, should be as bad as they are. You know what I mean? So the first thing I would do was fire head coach Scott Brooks and bring on a new coach. And since I'm fixing the team and since I'm being GM Jalen, I'll give you a coach that I could see fit in here. I don't know if let me see. I'll say this. I say you should bring someone like David Fizdale. We know what happened with New York, but of course we know with the ownership in New York and the players that they had, it didn't work out. But David Fizdale was pretty good in Memphis. And, you know, hell, you could bring I think David Fizdale will be a pretty good coach for this organization. I don't know if you can pry him away from wherever he is, but a lot of people say Mark Jackson, but Mark Jackson, as we saw with Golden State, was kind of more of a developing coach. Yeah, or, you know, you could bring Mark Jackson, but I'll say David Fizdale would be a pretty good coach for this group. I think that he has a track record and is able to coach stars. like I said, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. I think that he'll be able to get the most out of the younger players. And, you know, I also like Nate McMillan. I think Nate McMillan will be really good for this group. So either not Scott Brooks, either David Fizdale or Nate McMillan will be really good. Number 2. Now, one thing that the Wizards have not done really well is draft. Now they did do good with Rui Hachimura. He's pretty good. He averages 14 points a game this year. They did Danny, I forgot his name, Danny Avitsa. He's pretty good. I mean, he averages 6 points a game, but he does more than just score. The Wizards have not now. I will say this: the Wizards have not done a really good job in drafting, but it's also this position that they're in. They usually get either from 6th to 9th or something, even if they're bad. Like they haven't really had a really good draft position, and when they have had a good draft position, they've got people like Juan Vesely and stuff like that ain't gonna work, bro. Juan Vesely, when you had Giannis still in the ranks, so it's we're not gonna talk about it. What I would say is this: I think that you have to do whatever it takes, whether it's draft or go up or something like that, to try to get into the top 4. If you don't hit the lottery and get into the top 4, you need to try to trade up to get to the top 4 to get a scoring big man. Because while we have Thomas Bryant is not the tallest and not the best defending big man. Of course, he gives you energy. He gives you buckets around the paint or in the paint, but he's not the best defender, especially defending out in space. Now, of course, you don't expect a center to be able to do that a lot, but he's undersized. So he's a ball of energy and stuff like that, but he's still undersized. Also, outside of Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, they don't really have a third scorer, like a third person that can really put the ball on the ground and get you a bucket. I mean, they tried to do that with Rui Hachimura, but he's still young. Of course, you have sharpshooters like Davis Bertans, but he ain't putting the ball on the ground no time soon. Like they just don't have they just don't have a scorer. I mean, yeah, they just don't have it. So I would say try to trade up. I don't think you're getting number 1. Like I don't see that. I think that someone like Minnesota or something might got that locked up, or Detroit or something. They might got that locked up. But try to get anywhere from 2 to 4. I don't know if you got to trade up. I don't know what you got to do, but try to get between 2 and 4, so you can get someone like an Evan Mobley from USC. You can get someone like a Davion Mitchell from Baylor. While Evan Mobley isn't the greatest scorer, he's still a big man that can put the ball on the ground and get you a bucket. Davion Mitchell could solve the problem that you have of that third person being a scorer. Not to mention, Russell Westbrook's not a shooter. Davion Mitchell is an incredible shooter. So I think that if you try, I don't. First of all, in terms of that, I like. Also adding to that, if you do not listen to me and keep Scott Brooks, I don't understand why he throws out this 3-guard lineup with Ish Smith, Neto, and Russell Westbrook, which just blows my mind. It doesn't make any sense. But if you want to do that, you can. It would be better to have a Davion Mitchell. You know what I mean? Not to mention, if you don't do that, and Davion Mitchell is an incredible scorer. He can start at the 1. No, he can start at the 2. Russell Westbrook at the 1 and Bradley Beal at the 3. Like, there's ways that you can, you just need someone that can score, man. And they just don't have, outside of Bradley and Russell Westbrook, they don't have someone that can go get their own buckets. Or if you're lucky enough to get Evan Mobley, you have someone that is tall. You have someone that can put the ball on the ground. You have someone that's an incredible shot blocker. And you have someone that's has incredible touch around the rim. So try to trade up if you don't hit the lottery and get between 2 and 4. Try to trade up to get between 2 and 4. So that is number 2. Number 3, and this is something that the Wizards have not done at all. That is make smart free agency decisions. Like, they just haven't. I mean, they haven't been really good in free agency. There's been free agents out there. I don't know if it's been due to money. I don't know what it is, but they just have not been good free agent wise. And I think a team that you can really tell the fortunes of a team by their moves in free agency. And usually the Wizards' moves in free agency is ringing up on somebody, getting someone that's pretty much past their prime, or, they just or not making any moves at all. Okay, I will say this. This free agency coming up, there's not a lot of players that could tip the needle, but there are some players that can be really good for the Wizards. Let's see, you have DeMar DeRozan. If you don't luck out and get Davion Mitchell, DeMar DeRozan could be someone that comes in and gives you buckets. Because like I said, the Wizards struggle with a third scorer. And quiet as is kept, while he's not better overall than Russell Westbrook, he will be more of a scorer than Russell Westbrook. And you'll be able to occupy three different types of the floor. You'll be able to occupy three different positions or three different spots on the floor. You have Russell Westbrook, who's more of a north and south player, gets to the rim, gets fouled, do what he does. DeMar DeRozan pretty much solely operates in the mid-range. He has one of the greatest mid-range shots the league has ever seen. And then you have Bradley Beal, who's able to stretch out the defense and score from three. So if you can try to get a DeMar DeRozan, try that. On a little lesser scale, if you can try to get a Rudy Gay, try to go get Rudy Gay. Again, you need someone that can score the ball. And of course, Rudy Gay he's not out of his prime, but he's not in his prime. You know what I mean? So, or let me say this. He's not in his prime, but he's not washed. So I think Rudy Gay can definitely give you some buckets. I know he signed a 1-year deal, but see what LaMarcus Aldridge is talking about after this year. See what Blake Griffin's talking about after this year, since they all are on 1-year deals with the Nets. You just need to bring in somebody or people that can be beneficial now, not people that were beneficial 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. Someone that can help now. That's what Washington does. Washington, I just don't get it, man. But I just think, for number 3, make smart, relevant free agency decisions now instead of, just re-signing somebody or sign someone that's well past their prime. Like, this is the time now. Usually Washington, if you look at the free agency market, Washington will go out and sign Isaiah Thomas. They'll go out and sign a DeMarcus Cousins now instead of being able to do that when they were better. You know what I mean? Like the Dwight Howard move a couple years ago. It's just make smart free agency moves. Number 4, you have to make a decision about Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, I believe his contract's up in a year. And you have to make a decision. Is Russell Westbrook good enough in the organization's opinion to re-up? If you do not re-up, that is a lot of cap space that's coming off of the books, and you have to figure out what to do with that. And if there is not a player that is better or players that can accumulate what Russell Westbrook does, then you should re-sign him. Because again, the last thing you want to do is have Russell Westbrook leave and all you have is Bradley Beal and nobody. Now, again, it'd be different if you make free agency moves and you might, I don't know. But you have to make a decision on Russell Westbrook. Does he want to be there? And 2, has he been good enough or has he been effective enough to re-sign? And if he has been, he's still averaging a triple-double. He's averaging at this point 20, 22, 22, 11, and 11. Like that's incredible numbers. Now, because it's not really accumulating to winning, but you have to make sure, is Russell Westbrook that dude for you? And if he is, re-sign him, re-up. And if he's not, see what you can get for him. Because I don't know how flourishing the market is for him right now, even though he is putting up all these numbers. That's what you have to make sure. That's number 4. Make a decision on Russell Westbrook and make a stern one. And number 5, and I think one of the biggest reasons, I think this has to do a lot with Scott Brooks. But what I've seen is the Wizards have a tendency not to use their bench effectively. I mean, you've had Troy Brown Jr. on the bench, a young player who can take minutes from Bradley Beal and give you good minutes. You had Isaac Banga. Like, you've had good players that you just don't use. They do not use the bench effectively, and they don't use their young players effectively. Like, there's no reason why you should have Rui Hachimura playing 41 minutes, and when Troy Brown was there, he played damn near 1 or 2. And I'm not saying they play the same position, but that's a young player that can help. And the Washington has not been a good organization at developing young players. Now, again, I hear, but what about Bradley Beal? Bruh, that's one player. And that's Bradley Beal. What about John Wall? Well, John Wall's not there anymore. So if Washington wants to go as far as they can go, the last thing you want to do is continue to put 40 and 41 minutes on your star players. Like Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook play 35 minutes each, which is good for a superstar. But when Rui plays 31, Danny plays 24, and Troy Brown played 14 minutes tops, and that's sparingly, because he played 14 minutes for 3 games and then wouldn't play for the next 4. It just doesn't make. And Troy Brown, okay, I understand he's not on the team anymore. I'm just giving an example of a fact that he was a player that you need to nurture, that you need to develop, but you're not going to do that if he continues to play sporadically on the bench. So I think Washington needs to make a decision about what they want to do with a lot of things. Like, and I'll give you a recap, just in case you weren't listening. I'll give you a recap. The 5 steps that they need to do to go from 14th or 15th in the East to championship contenders is fire Scott Brooks and bring on a coach that's more balanced, that is able to focus on the defense more. I threw out a Nate McMullen. I threw out a David Fizdale. If you want to, you can throw out a Scott Brooks. See what Jeff Van Gundy talking about. Someone like that. Number 2, try to draft a forward or a big. No, try to draft a scorer or a big. Try to trade up if you don't do well in the lottery. Try to get an Evan Mobley. Try to get a Davion Mitchell. Make smart free agency moves. Like I said, see what Blake Griffin's talking about. See what LaMarcus Aldridge is talking about. See what Rudy Gay or DeMar DeRozan. See players like that. Number 4, make a decision if you want to re-up or not on Russell Westbrook and stay tight on that. Because the last thing you want to do is have him leave for nothing and you have nothing. Because then you'll rebuilding, and then you go nowhere. And 5, use the bench more. And when I say use the bench more, use the younger players more and develop them. Be able to develop young players, because if not, you're going to continue. Like, if you look at all the teams that have won in the recent, let's say the recent NBA champion winners, right? The Lakers, they were. I'm not saying he's the greatest, but they were able to develop the Kyle Kuzma. Golden State, hell, from freaking birth, they developed a Steph Curry. They developed a Klay Thompson. They developed a Draymond Green, and they had young players. Even though some of them not there anymore, but they had Damian Lee. They had Jordan Bell. They've had players that they've been able to develop. Kevon Looney. If you look at the Raptors, they developed a Pascal Siakam. They developed a Fred VanVleet. Norman Powell. Like, it's if you do not develop these players, they will not, or if you don't develop young players, they won't. Your team is only as strapped as, you'll be. Like, look at players that haven't developed young players well, like the freaking Bulls, the Wizards, Minnesota. I mean, you have Anthony Edwards, you have Karl Anthony Towns, now you have D'Lo, and he's been in and out for injury, and they've been really good. But what about any other young players? And why is their record so bad if they've developed so well? So those are the 5 steps that the Wizards, and this is the first team that I fixed. You're welcome. Those are the 5 steps that'll take the Wizards from bottom tier to a pretty good team. I don't know if they'll be able to win a championship, but I know that they'd be closer to winning a championship if they listen to what I said than what they are now. So that's the Washington Wizards. Again, I will do this from time to time. I'll pick a team, whether it's an NFL team, whether it's another NBA team, whether it's an MLB team, and I will fix them. I will bestow my GM-ness onto them. But let's move forward, man. Oh, okay. So I'm not one, and I've talked about this briefly before, and I will talk about this briefly now, or give an update and be a little brief about it. But so 22 women in total have come out against Deshaun Watson, and everything ranging from like inappropriate gestures or inappropriate conversations to full out sexual assault, has pretty much been accused of Deshaun Watson. And the charges may be coming soon. I know 2 women, or a woman came out with like a press conference and said what she said, and some women have put their names to paper, and this, that, and the third. And of course, with that being said, Nike they haven't dropped Deshaun Watson, but they've suspended their relationship with him at this point. He's lost Rolex. He's lost a couple of He's lost pretty big endorsements. Nike being the biggest, pretty much. Here's the thing. I will first say this. I am not one to just automatically go with, since he's been accused of something, he automatically did it. I understand that there's 3 sides to the story. There's there's his side, there's the young lady's side, and then there's the truth. And of course, the only people that would know each side is Deshaun Watson and whoever's accusing him. I will admit this. 22 is a tough number. 22 is a tough number. And the Deshaun Watson's camp and his lawyer and everything are pretty much saying that, if I think they're trying to go with the argument that if one person is lying, then all of them are lying. But I'm like, that's 22 people, bro. And 22 people are pretty consistent about what you've done and their story. Again, I'm not here to say he did it. I'm not here to say he didn't do it. If he did do it, then repercussions need to be swift and strong, because nobody should ever sexually disrespect anyone, whether it's a man to a woman, whether it's a woman to a man, whether it's a man to a man, whether it's a woman to a woman. Nobody should disrespect anybody. Nobody should harass anybody. Nobody should have to go with or have to deal with what these women are accusing Deshaun Watson of doing. Again, I'm not here to say he's done it or not, because I don't know. I would like to wait to his day in court. And I'm also not here to say that the women are lying either. I don't know. I don't know. But I will say this. I think that the NFL will more than, I'm almost sure. I don't know, of course, but I'm almost sure that seeing the volume of women that have come out, that Deshaun Watson more than likely will end up on the players exempt list until something gets figured out, because the NFL can't just not do anything. At this point, he's one of the marquee players. He is, and it's not, he's one of the marquee players, and the volume and amount of women that have come out, it will be such a terrible look if the NFL does nothing about this. And it'll be a crazy, crazy look if week 1 of the NFL, Deshaun Watson's playing. Now, again, I'm not saying that he did it. I'm not saying that he didn't. But what I'm saying is the optics will be incredibly bad if week 1 he is playing and there's still none of this has been resolved. So, and I understand, more than likely he wasn't playing week 1 anyways, seeing as though the rift between him and the Texans. But yeah, I just don't see how the NFL does not put him on the NFL exempt list. Because that just would be a horrible look for the organization, for the NFL, if Deshaun Watson is able and playing week 1 with this not being resolved. Again, I'm not here to say he did it because I don't know. And I'm one of the people I will wait until he gets his day in court. He says what he says. But a lot of things just doesn't look right, in my opinion. Like I said, 22 women is crazy. And the fact that now you're starting to see people put names to claims, put faces to claims. That was one thing that a lot of people were waiting on. It's just like, all right, well, if ain't no women coming out, blah, 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 then it ain't true. People are coming out and having press conferences. And I just haven't heard what I want to hear from Deshaun Watson's camp. I haven't heard definitively, I ain't done this. I have not done this. Like, I haven't heard that yet. I've heard, I've treated women. I just want y'all to know I've treated women with respect. I've heard his lawyers say stuff like, one or two of the people have tried to extort him, but that doesn't negate the other 21 or 20 people. All I'll say is this, man. If Deshaun Watson did this, if Deshaun Watson has done this, I think that, I think punishment needs to come in a form of the NFL and in the form of the justice system. I don't think, whether he's African American or not, I don't think that somebody that is able to just blatantly sexually assault people should just no matter how much money you got, should just be able to be like, oh, it is what it is. We're in a different time. I know back in the day it was probably, like, oh, well, it is what it is. But no. If he didn't do this, I hope that, the evidence comes out and says he didn't. But I'm not going to come on this platform, at least, and say I believe blank, or I believe the women, or I believe Deshaun. I'm not going to do that. I am going to be fair and say I'm going to wait to see what evidence comes out, and I'm going to wait for his day in court. I will admit that it does not look good. It does not look good at all. Seeing just this 22 is a tough number, bro. 22 is a hard number to see in terms of people that have come out and said that he has done this. Not to mention, some of the optics are just all like wild. Like, again, I'm not a professional athlete. I played college. It is what it is. But I'm not a professional athlete, and I understand that a professional athlete's body is their check, pretty much. Especially when we talk about the NFL and the NBA. Their body is their check. Their body and their skill is what brings in income that provides for them, provides for the family. I understand that. So I understand an athlete getting a massage, every week, maybe two times a week. I get that. But I've heard multiple people, former players, former women, former athlete, former and current athlete, masseuses. And it's very rare that an athlete has more than, I'll say, 2 or 3 masseuses, it's very rare that they have more than 2 or 3, and it's very rare that they get them from contacting them and seeking them on social media. Now, the fact that Deshaun Watson, which has been proven, the fact that Deshaun Watson goes out on social media and contacts these women, especially in the time that we are and the status that he is a red flag in my opinion. And the fact that he has 30 something, like 30 massage therapists, it blows me away, because it's like, I understand. Okay. And that's why I said that I listen to former athletes. I listen to former women, I listen to women that have, been former and current masseuses. And they say that usually an athlete would have either one that travels with them, or they'll have 2 or 3 that one of them may travel. The other one may be in designated cities. It is what it is. But to have 30, and the thing about it, it'll be different if it was 30 and 30 different. Like if you had 30, a different one in every state, I could understand that too. But the fact that this was during quarantine, all this happened, and you had them coming to your house, you had flying them out, this, that, and the third, that is something that's I just don't get. Like, that is, the optics has got, like, that is horrible, bro. Optics wise. Again, and even though the optics could be bad, I'm not saying that he did it. And I'm also would not dare say that these women are lying. What I would say is I'm going to wait for his day in court. Because trust and believe, court is coming, and I'll let the evidence and I'll let the courts determine. I'm not going to be the one to just, side with the accuser. I'm also not going to be the one to side with the person being accused. I will just let his day in court happen. And that's where we go from that, man. That's where we go from there. I will again also say this: if it would be such a bad look if none of this is resolved and Deshaun Watson does not land in the NFL exempt list, because we've seen other cases, worse cases than this, of players that didn't end up in the NFL exempt list. And especially with the sensitivity of dealing with women in this sheer amount of women, I just don't see Deshaun Watson not being on the exempt list at least week 1. And honestly, if all this comes out to be true, it's tough for me to say and it's tough for me to admit, but if all of this is true, it would be really tough for me to see Deshaun Watson playing NFL again. Because I just don't see a team or an organization that will take a chance on someone that has, and again, this is all hypothetical and this all could not happen, but it would be tough for me to see a team take a chance on somebody that has been that has come out and said that this is true. You know what I mean? So I think that we just have to let it all play out, man. And that's what I'm going to do before I cast my judgment. That's all I'm going to let it play out. So there you go. That's that. Lastly, before we go, I asked you guys on social media if you wanted me to rank. Okay, so let me say this: the new WNBA jerseys have come out. I think 24 have come out. There's a Explorer edition and there's a Rebel edition of every jersey, and all of them look nice, man. They all look good. They all tell a story in their own way, and I like all of them. Trust me, I like all of them. Now, I like some more than others, but I pretty much like all of them. And what I asked you guys is if you wanted me to rank all of the jerseys from best to worst in my opinion, and you guys said, or worst to best in my opinion, you guys said yes. So what I'm going to do to end the show is I'm going to take all 24 new jerseys, each team having 2, and of course there's 12 WNBA teams. So I'm going to take 24 and I'm going to rank them from worst to best. Now, when I say worst to best, worst in my opinion doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that I like them less than others. I think they're all pretty good. I think they're all definitely sleek. I think they're all pretty nice. But I'm just going to rank my least favorite to most favorite. So let me start with number 24. which is the Minnesota Lynx. Oh, you know what? And also for the viewers that are just listening, I think that it would, at least this segment, it would be smarter to come over, or it would be more beneficial, and you'll get more of an experience if you come over to the YouTube side, and watch the visuals. At least this part, seeing as though I'm gonna have the jerseys up while I'm talking, and I think that if you haven't seen the jerseys, or if you just want to see them, I think this segment, at least if you're just listening, this segment would be more beneficial for you if you came over to the YouTube. The link is in the description below, by the way. But let me start with number 24, which is the Minnesota Lynx Explorer Edition. I like it, man. It's nice. It reminds me, I mean, it's more of the traditional Minnesota, that it kind of goes back to their old roots. And it reminds me a lot of, and now when I do these comparisons, I'm not saying, I'm not putting them in the same realm, but it reminds me a lot of the Minnesota Timberwolves jerseys. And I like them, but I don't like them as much as the other ones. So because of that, I have number 24, the Minnesota Lynx Explorer Edition. Number 23, I have Dallas Wings Explorer Edition. Yeah, man, I like the green. I like the blue, the light blues hints. I like I like the script of the Dallas, but I just think that you could have done a lot more with that, especially with the color scheme that Dallas Wings are and have. I think you could have done a lot more. Again, I like them, but I just think I don't like them as much as others. So that's why I have them at 23. At 22, I have the Seattle Storm Explorer Edition. I'm not. I mean, it's cool. Again, it kind of goes back to its original roots with the style of lettering, and I do like the yellow up top, green on the bottom type. But again, I just feel you could have done more. I do like the jerseys. Again, I just feel you could have done more, and that's why I have them at 22. 21, I have the New York Liberty Explorer Edition. Now, I do like the subtle hints of kind of like rust, that because if you look really hard, you can see kind of it rusting from the top to the bottom, kind of, I guess, an homage on the Statue of Liberty. And if you look, you can kind of see grayish gold speckles for the toughness and the ruggedness of New York and stuff like that. I like that. I also like, my favorite color is black, so I'm a sucker for black, and I do like the black. But again, I think that there's better jerseys, and again, I have to continuously preference myself by saying I like all these jerseys, bro. But and I love the subtle hints that they do, but I think it could have been there's better ones. So at 21, I have the New York Liberty Explorer Edition. Number 20, I have the Phoenix Sun Rebel Edition. I like the black again, and I also like the X, the orange X, and I like the hints of purple. I love that. I don't know, that X kind of pops to me, bro. But again, to me, it's a little plain. It's a little plain, and the only reason why it's higher than a lot or lower than a lot of them is because it's plain. I love the X. I love the black, but it's a little plain. So that's why I have that at 20. At 19, I have the Atlanta Dream Explorer Edition. I loved it. I like the red with like the beams coming on the side ish, or the gleams or whatever. I like the jersey, man. It's just, again, it could have been a little better in my opinion. Now, I'm also not here saying I could have made it better. I think that they're really good. The WNBA knocks a lot of things out the park, and they definitely did a number and knocked out these jerseys. So shouts out to them, but I have the Atlanta Dream Explore Edition at number 19. At number 18, I have the Minnesota Lynx Rebel Edition. I do like the thing. I do like the incorporation of music venues that they did with kind of like the marquee that they put the Minnesota in. I do like that. I like the black. I like the stars that's kind of subtle in the background. I like that. But again, I just think they could have done a little bit more. But I do like how they paid homage to the rich history that Minnesota has, especially when they talk about music and locations and stuff like that. So that is what I have for number 18. Number 17, I have the Chicago Sky Rebel Edition. I like the fact of the broken broken glass, shattered lines is what it's called, I guess. I like that. I think it's different. I think it's unique. It definitely pops. And it kind of like breaks the mold, breaks the glass, and I like that, man. I just think they could have done a little better with the two hues of blue. You got the dark blue and the white blue for the glass breaking. I just think, and I like the Chi-Town. The Chi-Town font kind of reminds me of the Houston font, the new like Houston Jones. I like it. I think it could have been better. I like it, and that's why I have that at number 17. At number 16, I have the Las Vegas Aces Explore Edition. This Joan is sleek. It just reminds me a lot of Toronto. The Toronto jersey. But I do like it. I like the red. The red definitely pops with the white and the subtle hints. Even though black is my favorite color, the subtle hints of black on the trim. I like it. It is a clean colorway. It reminds me again a lot of the Raptors jump, and I like it. So that's why I have that at 16. At 15, I have the Connecticut Sun Rebel Edition. Now the Connecticut Sun. Hold on. I have the Connecticut Sun Rebel Edition. I like it. I like how they paid homage. Was it Kisuk in the Mohegan word for sun? I like how they switched it up. I think they switched it up a lot more than anyone just with the name. I do like that. I like that they paid homage to the Trail of Life. Like I do like that. I like the blue. I like everything about this jersey. I like everything about all the jerseys, man. But there's just more that's better. But I do like the fact that they kind of went hella left, and even changed the name and paid homage. So I do like that, and that's why I have that at number 15. Number 14, I have the Seattle Storm Rebel Edition. I do like the rugged look that it has. I like it kind of, the ruggedness of Seattle. I do like that. It kind of reminds me of, with the swoosh going in the middle. It kind of reminds me of Portland, except with, different colors. But I do like, the ruggedness that it looks and the sleekness with the black and the neon green hits. I do like that. And that's why I have that at number 14. No. Yes. Number 13, I have the Connecticut Sun Explorer Edition. I really do like the orange pop. I love it. Reminds me of, I don't know if you guys remember the old Zappers Washington Wizard jerseys, how orange that was. It definitely reminds me a lot of that. And I love the blue, sun trim that's on the collar. So I love that. And I'm not the biggest fan of orange, but I do love the orange pop, and I love the font. And again, it reminds me a lot of the old Zappers or Zaffers or whatever they're called, Wizards jerseys. So that's why I have that at 13. At 12, I have the New York Liberty Rebel Edition. I love the powder blue hits, the powder green, whatever type of green it is. I do love that. I don't know why I like that so much, but I do. And I like the equality that they did with their name. I love that. I don't know, man. That greenish blue, man, or teal, whatever the hell it's called. I like that. It kind of reminds you of rust even more. Um, I like that, and I do like the equality that's on the jersey. So I have that for number 12. Number 11, I have the Washington Mystics Explore Edition. To me, this is hella nostalgic. It brings back the old Washington Mystics font. I do like the red with the blue. I do again. That's more of a nostalgia type thing for me, seeing as though I'm from the DMV, and it brings back the old font. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of the old jerseys, but I did like the old font, so that's why I have that at number 11. Now we're in the big boy categories. We're in number 10 or 10 through 1. So for number 10, I have the Indiana Fever Explore Edition. Yo, this jump reminds me so much of the new Golden State Oakland jerseys, and I love those jerseys. I love the navy blue with the red and yellow and orange hits. I just love everything about this jersey, man. It's crazy, man. I'm getting a lot of these jerseys. I have to, and this is one of them I might gotta get, man. It just reminds me a lot of the new Golden State Oakland Jones, and I love those too. So that's why I have that at number 10. Number 9, I have the Washington Mystics Rebel jersey. I love this because it's different. It reminds me of the old Washington with the or old Bullets jerseys. And it also has script of, I believe, the 19th Amendment, which given the women voter rights. And I think that is such a great touch. And again, it reminds me a lot of the old Bullets jerseys with the navy blue and the orange, going across the chest, and the fact that it pays homage to women with the script, and seeing that it's a team in Washington, so something with the amendment and the Constitution definitely is a good subtle nod to it, I guess. That I do like that, and that's why I have that at number 9. Number 8. Oh, I'm sorry. That's why I have that at number 8. Oh, damn. My fault. Let me go back to number 9. Number 9, I have the... Actually, no. I'm sorry. Number 8, I have the Los Angeles Sparks Rebel Edition. It reminds me a lot of the Kobe jerseys that the Lakers wear. I do like the black with yellow hit with the star speckles on the side. I love that, man. It's really nice. And again, it reminds me a lot of the Mamba edition jerseys. Now, I know they're different, but it reminds me a lot of the Mamba jersey edition that the Lakers wear. And I do, again, I'm a sucker for black, and I do like the black and yellow hits. So that's why I have that for number 8. Number 7, I have the Dallas Wings Rebel jersey. I don't know, bro. I love this joint. I love the World War II Warhawk joint. I love the green. I love the patch in the middle, the logo. I love that deep olive green, man. And it was inspired by a plane manufactured in Texas by Texas flown by women Air Force service pilots, which is WASP. That joint is tough, and it's subtle. It's subtle, but that joint is tough. I love it, man. That is the Dallas Wings Rebel Edition. That joint is tough. I have that number 7. Number 6, I have LA Sparks. The LA Sparks Explore Edition. I think this pretty much encapsulates the team better than anyone. It has the palm tree. It has the old. It encapsulates what the Sparks are in California, and of course that's the purple with the white, the yellow with a small speck of indigo. That joint's tough. I like how it's spelled out, Los Angeles. Kind of that joint encapsulates California, and I like that, and that's why I have that at number 6. Number 5, I have the Chicago Sky Explorer Edition. I love this joint with the black, yellow. It reminds me of Laney, in Chicago. I do, and I like how it has like the blue words kind of falling down, the kind of like the Matrix. That jump's tough, bro. I love this, man. I love the sky blue with the yellow and the black and the matrix words coming, man. That joint's tough. And it has city blocks. The city blocks, that's what it represents. It says, man, that joint is tough. That joint's tough. And I have that at number 5. Number 4, and I guess, this might be a little controversial because some people think it's ugly, but I like it, is the Indiana Fever Rebel Edition. And this brings back my nostalgia and it brings back my love, or it kind of puts two together, my love for basketball and my love for Stranger Things. I know a lot of people's with me that say they love Stranger Things, and the fact that they were able to take the inspiration from Stranger Things and put it on a jersey, especially in Indiana, which of course is the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana, which is in Stranger Things. But that joint's tough with the blood speckles, and the Indiana Fever has the same font as the Stranger Things. That they knocked that joint out the park, bro. And that joint's tough. That's why I have that joint at number 4 so high. It's so high for me due to nostalgia. Like I said, I love the blood spatter. That joint is tough. Number 3, I have the Atlanta Dream Rebel Edition, man. I love the translucent hits or whatever, the bluish teal pink red hits on the side. I love the ATL with the star. I love the navy or the neon blue. Like that joint is clean. One of the cleanest in my opinion, especially on the sides, man. I like everything about it. It's very subtle. The jersey is very subtle, which is why I have it so high. Like you can rock like a lot with that, man. And yeah, that's why I have it at number 3. Number 2, I have the Las Vegas Aces Rebel Edition. That joint screams that joint reminds me so much of the OVO Toronto jerseys, and I just love the cleanness with the black, gold, and white. With the stars and stuff coming from, man, that joint's clean. I love the gold hits, bro. The gold hits is tough, and it's just crafted to perfection, bro. And I like the aces on the side. Like it's them, that the gold really does it for me, man. And that's why I have it at number 2. And of course, if you're waiting, you're waiting. Number 1 is the Phoenix Sun Explorer Edition. I love how this reminds me so much of the Miami Heat jerseys that go from one color and you go down to the other. That joint's tough, man. I love how it starts with orange, and once it continues to go down, it ends up being purple. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of the Miami Heat city jerseys now, and them joints is tough. The WNBA does an incredible job at most everything that they do. Of course, they don't get as much recognition as they should, but the WNBA knocks out the park, and they definitely knocked all these jerseys out the park. Like it was incredible. And I'm excited to see what they look like on the players, and I'm excited to see what else the WNBA has up their sleeve coming up for this season. And there you have it, man. That has been this week's episode of the Unpopular Podcast, or today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I appreciate everyone that listens. Again, please subscribe to whoever you're listening. Please subscribe to whoever you're watching. It will definitely mean a lot. Again, if you're one of the listeners, which I truly appreciate, and you don't know what any of these jerseys look like, I would definitely come over to the YouTube, at least just for that segment, and because the jerseys will, you'll see them on the screen. You can decide which one you like or not. If you don't agree with, or if there's another jersey if there's a jersey that you like that I may have had too high, too low, leave in the comments. Let me know. Definitely will talk about it. I appreciate interacting with you guys. Again, I hope that you have a great day, great week, and until next time, much love.